What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League F2 Season 2, Round 8 here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, España. Round 8, and getting set to do a 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race. We're waiting for a few more drivers to join in, but we're going to run down the drivers that we have so far. Nexus Clone is Jared Fosbury, followed by Luis Wassman. Nexus Cats is Andre Zaz. Sneaky Pete, that is Andre Pestana. Venom X is Louis Quinlan in the Ferrari. James Hallworth will be Red Bull Racing. Adrian Storm in the Mercedes Petronas. Harry Cooper in the Williams. Jorge Correa in the Haas. Kevin Harrison will be in the Alfa Romeo. Alexander Bastos in the Renault. Jack Yates, making his return after missing last week's race, will be in the other Alfa Romeo. Daniel Tamberg in the Williams. Paco Suarez is in the other Mercedes Petronas, and we are going to hold off for just a couple more minutes as we are trying to get Ivan Brito in here. He's apparently having some technical difficulties with the game invite and his PS4, so we're going to wait on him. We're going to go at 16:35 or 11:35 my time. And in the midst of that, we'll talk about last week's race at Monza. That was definitely a thriller. Unbelievable battle from start to finish. Be sure to check that out if you haven't seen it already. But Harry Cooper picked up his second pole position of the year. Kevin Harrison went on to win the race in spectacular fashion. It was his first win of the year, third podium. Jared Fosbury was able to pick up second spot. Harry Cooper did come home third. He was followed by Luis Wassman in fourth. Jamie Griffiths in fifth. Andre Pestana in sixth. James Jock in seventh. Alexander Bastos came home eighth. We'll talk about him in just one moment. Jorge Correa came home ninth. Jonas Bogan came home 10th. And James Hallworth was 11th. Ivan Brito came home 12th. Louis Quinlan was 13th. Paco Suarez was 14th. And Joshua Arnold was credited with a 15th place finish. He did not start the race. He was disqualified during qualifying. We'll talk about more about that in a minute. But congratulations to Kevin Harrison picking up his first win of the season. Without Jack Yates, Jared Fosbury was able to close in the points gap to Yates, so he's the second in points now. He's got 97 points versus 112 to Jack Yates, so the championship battle is very much alive heading into round 8. And Joshua Arnold, we talked about briefly just a second ago, was credited with a 15th place finish. He did not start the race. He was actually disqualified during qualifying for parking his car in an unsafe place, and actually due to that incident with Alexander Bastos during qualifying and other incidences that Joshua Arnold has had throughout the course of this season, he has actually been banned for the rest of the year. He will not be participating in any more IRL races, F1, F2, F3, whatever may else come of it. So banned for the rest of the season, rest of season 6, our IRL F1 racing, and it's season 2 for the F2 league. So no more Joshua Arnold. Unfortunately, his career was very short-lived. He will be credited with 1 pole, which he scored back in round 1 at Silverstone, 1 point with a 10th place finish back in round 2 at Austria, and 4 DNFs. And we certainly wish Joshua Arnold good luck on his venture in his career, but he will not be racing with IRL for the remainder of the season. Moving forward, we do want to talk about Alexander Bastos, who had a series of unfortunate events. Again, he had some issues with Joshua Arnold in qualifying, and he also had an internet disconnect, unfortunately, during the race. He was actually driving in 4th spot when he, for whatever reason, disconnected from the server. His car went AI and actually finished 8th, but on Alexander Bastos' end, he was still in the race and actually came home 4th, but because we have to go by the official IRL live stream, his car was credited with an 8th place finish, even though he didn't know he had disconnected from the server, and he actually finished 4th on his end. So unfortunately, he was on his way to a career best finish of 4th spot, gets credited with 8th. Nonetheless, he was running a very good race up until that point, so I do want to give a little bit of shout out to him. He ran a great race at Monza last week, so congratulations to him on what could have been a 4th place finish, but unfortunately credited with 8th. Paco Suarez having another series of bad luck. He was battling up front. It was a 4-car battle for the lead for most of the race, for the first half of the race, I should say. He dropped the left side tires into the grass coming out of the second chicane, and caused a catastrophic wreck. He went across the course, nose first into the Armco, lost his front wing, tried coming back onto the course, and took about 6 or 7 cars with him. It was a calamity corner, and took out a lot of cars in the midst of it. Got credited with a DNF, unfortunately. That's his 4th DNF of the season. But he has shown a lot of speed at times, but he hasn't been able to put together a race. So unfortunately, another DNF for him. That was his 4th out of 7 rounds. And we do got some guys chiming in on the live chat. We've got Lewis Marshall from IRL and SRL fame. He actually raced yesterday in SRL. We've got Gaming Ollie 22 from Norway supporting TNR. I'm going to assume that is TNR, I believe, is Daniel Tamberg. He'll be driving in the Williams today. Tamberg currently 5th in the points with 59. And we're still having some issues getting Brito into the session. Still some radio chatter going on about that as we continue to recap last week's amazing race. And guys, definitely be sure to check that out. Like, subscribe, and comment on the YouTube channel. Check out all the prior races from this season. You can also check out F1 and F2. And I do want to give a shout out to the fans and the viewers, because I was looking through the YouTube channel today. I don't often go back to watch a stream that I've already done, but I was scrolling through the YouTube channel and I've noticed that the F2 League is actually getting more views per race than the F1 and the F3 League. So I don't know if that's a testament to the drivers or myself. I know that there's a lot of PTRL guys that like watching the F2 League and like to support Ivan Brito and Jorge Correa. So we definitely appreciate that. But I do want to give a shout out to the fans. Thank you guys for making F2, what it is, more views per race than the F1 and the F3 League. So thank you guys for that. And again, we've got Ollie 22 on the live chat. We've got Luke Baker on the live chat as well. So always good to have new fans with us. And looks like we're going to be getting ready to launch here in just a moment. So I don't think we're going to be able to get Ivan Brito into the race today. He's having some technical difficulties with his VPN, it looks like, which is too bad because PTRL guys like to come out and support Correa and Brito. That is the Portuguese racing league that is actually set up originally by Jorge Correa, who is racing in today's race. So unfortunately, Brito races in that league. He will not be racing with us today. Another quick note, turn 15, I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but IRL has picked up on it, but turn 15 on this track, you can cut that corner pretty significantly, gain a time advantage, and the game does not actually give you a warning or a time penalty during the race. So that is going to be monitored by the stewards and the admins during today's race. They'll be going over that pretty closely and very detailed with some of the other live streams, the POVs from some of the other drivers, which they have access to. Not everybody does it, and then obviously if anything gets caught on the real stream here, the actual official IRL stream, they'll be looked at after the race, and possibly time penalties could be incurred. So the drivers have been given a warning by Brandon Glover, who is one of the administrators for the league, prior to this race, not to cut that chicane, and that they will be reviewing everything. So moving forward, again, no Joshua Arnold. Don't cut the chicane. We're going to do an 18-minute qualifying session. Looks like we're up to 15 drivers. I'm trying to see if maybe we were able last minute to get Ivan Brito in here, but it doesn't look like we were able to. So 15 drivers for today's race. And it looks like we've got some guys actually on the live chat looking forward to seeing Daniel Tamberg. So DNR getting some support here today. Good for him. Baker races in F3. And Lewis Marshall is going to enjoy watching Jared crash. Hopefully he does not. But good to have some crowd support from some of these guys. So clock ticking. Looks like we're getting some guys to finally get out on track. Looks like 5 or 6 cars heading out on their out lap now. It looks like Luis Wassman in the Racing Point was the first one to head out on track. Wassman came home 4th last week. That's a great improvement over his previous race at Monaco. He came home 6th at Monaco, but was surrounded by controversy through qualifying and during the race. There was a lot of issues with the Racing Point cars in Monaco. He came back strong last week to come home 4th, ran a really smart race, stayed out of trouble. So congratulations to him. And here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, that bright green helmet, that is how you can tell that is Luis Wassman. Doesn't look like his teammate will be joining him today. So guys to watch today, the ever-impressive Iceman, Nexus Iceman, that is Jack Yates. He's your points leader, currently still in the pits. 112 points to his credit this year. He missed last week's race, but leading up to that, he has gone 6 for 6 this year with podium positions. He's participated in 6 races. He's had a podium in every single race. He's got 1 win to his credit. He is the points leader. Now, chasing him in the points is going to be Nexus clone. That is Jared Fosbury in the McLaren. That is your defending series champion. He's got 4 podiums to his credit this year and was able to close that points gap last week when Jack Yates was out and Fosbury came home second. So down here in this area, turn 15, where you're able to cut the chicane a little bit and cut the corner, they're going to be monitoring that. We'll talk about it probably a little bit more throughout this race. It looks like some guys are going to start setting some hot laps here. We'll pick up Luis Wassman. He should be the first one on a hot lap. Ran 22.289 sector 1. He's out on the hard tires. So probably maybe just getting a feel for what the hard tires might do during the race. Put a couple laps on them. Runs a little wide coming out of there. To the top of the hill, DRS slot open. Very short DRS backstretch here. The back straightaway, it's a good overtaking spot if you're close enough to the car in front heading up to the top of the hill, but there's a lot of aero wash. You get into that wake of the car in front of you. Got a caution in sector 2. Riding along with Luis Wassman, he'll be the first one to set a time. Very clean through there. The caution in sector 2 and 3, that's going to be right at the switchover, and he's going to be the first one to set a time. 120 flat. Followed by Daniel Tamberg with a 119.825, followed by Harry Cooper with a 119.388. So Tamberg and Cooper, the first 2 drivers to crack into the 119s. Here comes Kevin Harrison down the front stretch. Looks like he's starting his hot lap now. He's going to have a lot of traffic to contend with as he heads through corners 1 and 2. Got a yellow flag in sector 2 now as he heads to the top of the hill. This sweeping right-hander. Jorge Correa sets the 4th quickest time with a 1:23.21. Alexander Bastos 5th quickest so far, 1:21.133. So we continue to watch Kevin Harrison in the Alfa Romeo. You see he's coming up on some traffic there. That looks like that's Harry Cooper. Oh, and he's got a lot of cars in front of him. He's going to be able to get a little bit of a slipstream off of Cooper's car. Cooper's going to get out of the way. Thank you, Harry Cooper, for not ruining that lap. Wisely stays out of the way of the oncoming car of Kevin Harrison. Harrison runs a little wide here through this right-hander. That might cost him a little bit of time. That may have been a little close. Here he comes across the line. This is going to be a good lap. 1:18.894. It looks like it was invalidated. So too bad for him. He comes across the line, but his time doesn't count. But we saw what kind of pace he's got. He could crack into the 1:18s. We'll pick up his teammate Jack Yates. Yates in the other Alfa Romeo. Now, Team Alfa Romeo has a solid lead in the Constructors' Championship. Nobody's even close to taking that from them right now. We thought Mercedes Petronas, with the driver combination of Adrian Storm and Paco Suarez, would be able to give them a run for their money, but Adrian Storm, he has struggled a little bit this year. He actually had a hand injury back in Monaco round 7, and he did play with the hand injury, but it cost him dearly. He wasn't able to get a whole lot going. That was round 6. He came home 9th that day. And a 1:21.968 for Jack Yates. So Adrian Storm had struggled with the hand injury at Monaco, came home 9th. He didn't even participate in qualifying that day. He went out and did an out lap, and his hand hurt so bad he thought he would just save himself for the race. He wasn't sure he'd be able to make it work, but he did. He came home 9th, put some points on the board. Paco Suarez, we talked about earlier, 4 DNFs this year. Unbelievable bad luck for him so far. We've got Andre Pastana has set the 5th quickest time. followed by Adrian Storm in the Mercedes, 1:22.94. So the only drivers yet to set a time has been Kevin Harrison, who we saw come across the line, but his time was invalidated. Andre Zaz in the Red Bull. And Jared Fosbury, who has yet to set a time, as well. So we'll pick up Andre Zaz. He had a real solid run around 6 in Monaco during the night race. Came home with a 3rd place finish. It was his first podium of the year. So he definitely showed some speed and some prowess. .10:30 left to play in the session. See what kind of time Zaz can set. And here comes Andre Zaz across the line. This is going to be a pretty quick time for him. 1:18.867. Shocking. Andre Zaz, first driver into the 1:18s, and he's 0.4 of a second up over Louis Quinlan, who has gone 1:19.139, looks like on the medium tire. Good qualifying effort by Quinlan. He's just had some really bad luck throughout the course of last season and this season. He's got 2 DNFs in IRL to his credit. He also races in SRL, where he's also had a rash of DNFs this year and last year. So good qualifying effort by him. He was actually running fairly well last race. He was running mid-pack. He was all by himself in 5th spot at Monza. He had a little bit of an off at Ascari. Ended up costing him the race. He comes home with another DNF. Adrian Storm complaining on the live chat that this game has now deleted his setup. That was a few minutes ago. So Adrian Storm currently 10th fastest. Hopefully he was able to reset his setup at least enough to maybe be a little bit more competitive. We see Quinlan heading into the pits. Jared Fosbury has set the 3rd quickest time at a 1:19.315. So the only driver right now in the 1:18s is Andre Zaz. 9 minutes left to play in the session. Does anybody have anything for him? So we've got a few guys that have gone in, and Ivan Brito has been able to join the race. So good to have Ivan Brito, except he's just gone around, unfortunately for him. And Luis Wassman sets the fastest time, 1:18.833, so he's 0.03 of a second quicker than Andre Zaz. That just leaves Kevin Harrison, the one lone driver to yet set a time. It looks like he's on a hot lap on the medium tires. See somebody off there behind him in the gravel, way off. That's going to be the yellow flag you see popping up sector 2. I don't know who that was, but we're going to stick with Kevin Harrison. And look out the back of the Alfa Romeo. They'll be looking to try and set a time. And one of Mercedes there getting out of the way. Now Harrison has shown some really good speed, obviously, this year. He won last race. He had a pole back at Monaco in the wet. Comes across the line, 1:25.78, good enough for 13th quickest right now. Jack Yates, 1:21.968, 7:22 left to play in the session, and Alfa Romeo looks like they're setting their times on the hard tires. And I wonder if that's going to be a little bit of a strategy call, or if they're just toying with everybody right now. And it looks like we've got Aoi Asahina joining us. It looks like that is a new driver. We're getting the word here from TNR ZE3 EXER. That is actually Sondre Sorhaug. He's the president of the league. So Asahina will be joining us. I don't know anything about him, and I'm sure that's not his real name. I don't want to cut away from the footage to find out. So Asahina will be joining us. That'll make 16 drivers for today's race. Obviously, he'll be too late to join for qualifying, so he'll start last. Fosbury got the invite out to him, so As we were talking, though, Alfa Romeo 13th and 15th quickest so far, and that is out of character for them unless they're doing a strategy play here. Obviously, you have to start on the tires that you set your time with. So we do have 3 drivers now, though, in the 118s. That's Luis Wassman, Andre Zaz, and now Sneaky Pete, Andre Pestana, has gone 118.901 to take over the 3rd spot here. We'll pick up Ivan Brito. He's back at that same section where he lost the car last time we saw him. To the top of the hill, runs a little wide coming out of there. DRS slot open. And I see Lewis Marshall is watching the SRL race from yesterday. That is another league that I commentate for. That is the Sandro Racing League. And while there are many SRL leagues, there is only one Sandro Racing League. Guys, be sure to check that out if you would like as well. They had a really good race yesterday. It was round 4 at Bahrain. As we watch Ivan Brito cut the chicane, and it looks like he's going to dive into the pits. So Brito looks like he's struggling with the car just a little bit. It looks like he was struggling with some rear end grip. Obviously, we saw him spin a few minutes ago. Yellow flag, sector 2. And while that was going on, Jack Yates did set a faster time, 1:19.276, that make him 5th quickest. Under 5 minutes to go here. And it looks like everybody's in the pits except for Alexander Bastos and Jorge Correa. We're going to pick up Correa. And as we said earlier, Correa, definitely a crowd favorite. A lot of the PTRL guys coming to support him, driving in the Haas. His teammate is also Ivan Brito's his teammate in SRL, I believe. And he's going to do a donut. That's one way to put some heat into the tires. Might be doing some donuts for the viewers here. Giving it up for PTRL. We'll pick up Paco Suarez. Looks like he's 0.3 up on his previous time as he heads through sector 2. Currently 12th quickest. He's definitely got more speed as a driver than that. He's out on the softs currently. We see Luis Wassman's back out on an out lap. Ivan Brito's back out on an out lap. Adrian Storm's back out on an out lap. So the track is about to get very busy with 3 minutes left to play in the session. And Suarez is going to call that a day. So he foregoes that lap, dives into the pits. We'll pick up James Hallworth. And he is diving into the pits as well. Now we'll pick up Ivan Brito on his out lap. And we'll check to see where Luis Wassman is. Oh, Wassman's on the hard tires now, and he blew that corner, slid it out very wide. And Alexander Bastos is retired from the session. We were just watching him, and I am assuming he had a bit of an off. So his time will be locked in at a 1:19.512. We'll see if that holds up good enough for 10th, but I got a feeling he's going to drop through the order a little bit here as the time winds down in this qualifying session. So very slow through this corner here. Going to shout out now the 2-minute warning. Adrian Storm to the top of the charts. 1:18.823, and we just saw Luis Wassman dive into the pits. 2 minutes left to play. It's going to be hard for him to get in and get back out. So I think Wassman's time might be locked in. So Storm out on the track. He sets the fastest time at a 1:18.823, coming back from that hand injury from a couple weeks ago. Must be feeling a little bit better. And Jorge Correa has retired from the session as well. 1:19.905. His time is locked in. That is good for 14th quickest so far, so not a good outing for Jorge Correa. Keep eyes on him, though. Correa has made some very smart strategy calls in years past to work his way through the field and put some points on the board. He may be doing an alternate strategy than some of these other guys here, so that'll keep an eye on that. Luis Wassman's retired from the session. He knows he doesn't have any time left to get in there. And Adrian Storm only beat him by 100th of a second. 1:18.823 over the 1:18.833 by Wassman. Got a lot of guys on an outlap. There's 45 seconds to go in the session. Looks like Storm is going to dive into the pit, so he is going to call it a day. And looks like that was Daniel Tamberg we saw as he shoots down the front straightaway. Right now, 10th on the charts. Adrian Storm calls it a day. Very wide through turn 3 up the hill. Daniel Tamberg, a lot of guys viewing in to watch him, support him today. Louis Quinlan has retired from the session. His time's locked in, 1:19.139. Good enough for 6th so far. And time is up. Jared Fosbury to the top of the charts, 1:18.541, so good for him. Pick up Jack Yates, your points leader. And Jack Yates is coming through the last couple of corners now. Does he have anything for pole position? 1:18.602, second quickest. Daniel Tamberg, who we were just watching a minute ago, 1:18.363 to the top of the charts. We'll pick up Andre Zaz in the Red Bull. He's going to come across the line. 1:18.747, good enough for 5th. We'll pick up Harry Cooper as he comes across the line. And he's up on his time, good enough for 2nd fastest. Paco Suarez coming out of the last corner now. And Suarez is not able to improve his time. So Daniel Tamberg, unbelievable last-ditch effort. So here is your starting order. Daniel Tamberg, followed by Harry Cooper. James Hallworth, 3rd quickest. Where did that come from? Jared Fosbury, Jack Yates, Andre Zaz, Adrian Storm, Luis Wassman, Andre Pestana, Ivan Brito, Louis Quinlan, Alexander Bastos, Paco Suarez, Jorge Correa, and Kevin Harrison starting all the way in the back. Unbelievable time. Shout out to James Hallworth. That is a great qualifying effort. You see, he's one of the 2-3 drivers that's going to start on the softs. But great qualifying effort by him. He's mid-pack driver, so. But Daniel Tamberg, 5th in points, comes out swinging. And I believe that is going to be Daniel Tamberg's first pole position of the year. So congratulations to him. Yeah, just looking through my notes there. Congratulations to him. First pole position. Got a lot of crowd support today. And Asahina. Did Asahina get into the lobby? Yes, he did. I do see an AOI. Ahoy. I don't know how you would say that. Asahina. He should be starting in the back. He'll be starting 16th, I believe. He did not get in time for qualifying. And good to see a new driver joining the league. As we talked earlier, Joshua Arnold banned for the league, and as one driver leaves, another one comes in. So we certainly wish Asahina luck today. And we're going to go through the formation lap. Daniel Tamberg starting on pole, his first pole position of the year. He'll be looking to capitalize on that and try and lead from start to finish to get his first win of the year as well. Harry Cooper starting in 2nd spot. He'll be looking to try and snatch that one away from Daniel Tamberg. And James Hallworth with a amazing qualifying effort. He'll be looking to try and get a podium for the first time in a long time. Jared Fosbury will be starting fourth, and he is looking to try and close that points gap to Jack Yates. Jack Yates will be starting behind him in the 5th spot. Can him or Fosbury work their ways into the podium position? And Andre Zaz had a podium back in Monaco. He'll be looking to try and do it again here today at Barcelona. Adrian Storm, coming off of that hand injury from a couple of weeks ago, puts in a decent qualifying effort. That hand may still be giving him some lingering pain, but he's going to work through it. Starting in 7th today, and Luis Wassman coming off of a season best finish of 4th so far last time out at Monza. He'll be looking to try and do that again today, as he'll be starting in the 8th spot. Andre Pastana in the Haas with teammate Jorge Carrillo. They'll be looking to put in a good team effort today. He'll be starting 9th. Hopefully he can work his way through the field, put some good points on the board. And Ivan Brito, who had those technical issues before the race had started, looks like he was able to get into qualifying. He'll be starting in the 10th spot. Be looking to put some points on the board for Team McLaren. And Louis Quinlan had a great run going last time out at Monza, but unfortunately made a mistake and crashed, had another DNF. He'll be looking to try and just put some points on the board today. And Alexander Bastos, he thought he had a career best finish of 4th last week out. Unfortunately, he was disconnected from the server. He'll be looking to try and do that again as he starts 12th today. And Paco Suarez, after an abysmal start to the season with 4 DNFs, he'll be looking to just finish this race. Jorge Carrillo will be starting in the 14th spot. Look for him to make some interesting strategy calls and work his way through the field to put some points on the board. Kevin Harrison, coming off of his first win, starting all the way back in the 15th spot. He'll be starting on the hard tires, so he'll be on an alternate strategy to his teammate Jack Yates. And Asahina in the factory Renault. I don't have any information on this driver. New to this league, making his debut, starting 16th as he missed qualifying. He'll be looking to try and work his way through the field, put some points on the board his first time out. Try and get, there we go. Waiting on 5 red lights, and they are out. Time to run with LeBrun. They're away in a puff of smoke. Good start by Tamberg as he gets out in front. Jared Fosbury looks like he's going to lose a spot to, actually he's going to try and gain a spot over James Hallworth. Hallworth goes deep into the braking zone. Looks like everybody's clean through the first couple of corners. Oh, that's Luis Wassman. Looks like he's going around. Looks like he might have had some contact with somebody. Had a little bit of help. Got spun around. Jack Yates looks like he's going to lose a couple spots. He's falling back into 6th now. And Yates going to try and make the move, get that position back. You see the 2 Red Bulls fighting for position there. That's James Hallworth and Andre Zaz. Jared Fosbury was able to jump them at the start, pick up the 3rd spot. We've got some contact going on in the back. Andre Pastana now back with his teammate. And Asahina started 16th, has already worked his way into 12th. Good start for him. Back at the front, though, it's Daniel Tamberg still out in front of Harry Cooper, who is now fallen under pressure. Jared Fosbury. Fosbury's all over the gearbox of the Ferrari. And it looks like Jorge Carrillo and Pastana are swapping spots. That's a battle for 13th, but we're not going to come to that. We watch this 3, 4, 5 car battle. Not a lot of separation so far. And a fairly clean start with the exception of Luis Wassman falling all the way back to 16th. Tamberg sets the fastest lap. Obviously, he's way out in front. Zaz is trying to get by his teammate James Hallworth. Hallworth started 3rd. He's all now falling back into 4th. And now 6th. Oh, and look at this. A Ferrari. That was Louis Quinlan. Blew the corner, and here comes Bastos. Bastos gets squeezed out. And that's Kevin Harrison going around the outside of Bastos to pick up the 9th spot. And now we're getting a little bit of separation at the front. We see a Mercedes diving in. That's Paco Suarez over Alexander Bastos. Now they're 2 wide. This is Asahina now. Asahina all over the back of Suarez's Mercedes. And Asahina has already worked his way up to 11th in the first 2 laps of this race. And then we've got Kevin Harrison going around, trying to go around Louis Quinlan. Quinlan's going to push him wide coming out of that corner. To the inside, Harrison. They're still side by side. Quinlan's going to be able to get out in front of him just a little bit. And was that Quinlan? Quinlan dives into the pits. Wonder if he had some wing damage. A little early to be pitting, even on softs. Actually, these are medium tires. And, yeah, they are switching out the front wing on Quinlan's car. So we jump back to the battle for the lead here. There's a little bit of separation going on. We got Daniel Tamberg out in front. He's now got a second gap over Harry Cooper. Cooper's able to spread a half gap over Jared Fosbury. Andre Zaz is currently running in fourth. He's followed by Jack Yates, your points leader. You go a second back to that. James Hallworth, who started in third, is now fallen back to the fifth spot. And now we've got Asahina has now worked his way into the points as he gets around his teammate Alexander Bastos. So Asahina 16th to 10th in 3 laps. So this guy showing some muscle. Oh, but he runs very wide coming there at the top of the hill. And we're going to pick up Jack Yates. Yates is closing in that gap over Andre Zaz. And now it looks like Fosbury is going to have the DRS slot open. Looks like he's going to make a move on Harry Cooper. The battle for second. Fosbury all the way to the inside. He's going to have that DRS slot open as it was enabled on lap 3. Going to easily make that pass. Can Cooper get it back or stick with him? And Jack Yates all over the back of the Red Bull. It looks like second through 7th is only covered by about 2.5 seconds. Anything can happen amongst these cars. Cooper still trying to get that spot back. He's only within half a second. Tamberg not able to pull too far away from this, and he's actually lost a little bit of ground. 2.5 back is Fosbury. It was almost 2 seconds a couple laps ago. DRS slot open on this short backstretch here. Now, even though that backstretch is short, if you've got a good setup, you can keep it full throttle. We got a yellow flag at Sector 2. Not sure who that would be. Somebody might have a quick on-off. Looks like that might be Louis Quinlan. Oh, and Quinlan is off again. And here comes Luis Wassman. So Wassman's going to get around him. So Quinlan, who started in the 6th spot, I believe, or 9th, has now fallen all the way to the back of the grid. Oh, looks like Jack Yates is going to try and make a move. Zaz to the inside, tries to take the defensive line. He's going to try and push Yates wide. Yates isn't going to stand for it. Pushes back. They're side by side as they head through the sweeping right-hander, turn 3, all the way up the hill and around the outside. Iceman trying to make the move. He's still on the outside. And look at this, coming out of this corner here. Power move to the outside. He's going to be set up for the next corner, and they make a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Now Zaz is going to get pushed wide, tucks in behind him, and I don't think this battle's over. Look at this, to the inside, Zaz. Oh, and he's going to lose the back end of the car. It doesn't look like there was any contact there, but he lost the back end of the car. He's going to fall through the grid here. Trying to get the car turned around. Oh, no, and he's up against the barrier. Andre Zaz coming back out onto the track. Oh, and he's going to call it a day. A rage quit from Andre Zaz. And that is really, really unfortunate for him. There's so much left in this race. Too early for that. Never give up. Never surrender. So that's disappointing. And Asahina moves into the 8th spot. So, and Zaz saying there's no way a 2-stop can get me anything good from that. Explaining how he feels on the live chat. I mean, we appreciate him viewing, and unfortunately for him, rage quit today after having that podium back at Monaco. So we look forward to him being back next race. Hopefully he'll be able to put some points on the board. We're going to do a little bit of a grid reset here. The cars are getting a little bit separated now. Daniel Tamberg, excuse me, still a 1.5 seconds out in front of Jared Fosbury. Fosbury's still got Harry Cooper trying to close in that gap. Jack Yates is 1 second behind them. James Hallworth holding his own right now in the 5th spot, but he's got Adrian Storm starting to close in on him. Kevin Harrison, who started deep in the field in 15th, has now worked his way into the 7th, followed by the impressive run so far by Oloy Asahina. Paco Suarez is currently running in 8th, Jorge Correa in 10th, Alexander Bastos is 11th, Andre Pestana is in 13th, Louis Quinlan, who has had a little bit of contact, needed to replace his wing, and has spun the car, is running in 13th. Luis Wassman had contact on the opening lap. He is now 14th. Ivan Brito looks like he's had some struggles. He is all the way back into the 14th spot as he runs wide at the top of the hill. And Lee looks like he is off the pace. So Ivan Brito struggling with the car. Not sure if he's going to pull it into the pits, maybe call it a day himself. Looks like he's definitely off the pace. Maybe just trying to get some heat back into them tires, get the gravel off them after cutting the chicane. And it looks like he's back on it now, so Ivan Brito 15th, and that is your 15 cars remaining. Andre Zaz will be credited with 16th and a DNF, unfortunately for him. But we pick up this battle here. This is the battle for 5th. Working lap 7 of 33. This is Adrian Storm in the Mercedes in hot pursuit of James Hallworth in the Red Bull. Hallworth had that great qualifying effort, started in 3rd, and it looks like he just dived into the pits, so he'll be giving up some spots. Now he's going to be the first of the front runners, the first of, I want to say, the normal stops to go in. He's on the soft tires, so probably switch over to the mediums, possibly the hards. We'll try and pick that up. And it looks like he has switched over to the medium tires. He may try to run them all the way to the end, so that's going to move a couple of guys up some spots. Kevin Harrison will move into 6th. The Hoy Hasahina will move into 7th. We've got a yellow flag, Sector 3. Not sure who that would be. Looks like that is Ivan Brito once again. So Brito struggling with the car. He fought so hard just to even try and get into this race. And he can't seem to get the car going. And you know how hard it is to get these cars back on track. So much wheel spin, and the tires just lose so much temperature. And he is going to cut the chicane. And here comes Daniel Tamberg. So Tamberg, I hope that Ivan Brito would very much get out of the way and let these leaders go by. You see Tamberg's going by. Now, Jared Fosbury is going to try and pick up a little bit of a slipstream off of his teammate there. So that will officially put Ivan Brito a lap down. You still see this battle. This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. This is Jared Fosbury in 2nd spot, followed by Harry Cooper, followed by Jack Yates. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's turning, it's materializing into a 3-car battle for the 2nd spot. Oh no, that was one of the Ferrari. Oh, and Ivan Brito's gone off again. And I thought I saw one of the Ferraris go off. Nope, must have been wrong. It was Ivan Brito. And I think at this point, Ivan Brito needs to call it a day. He's now becoming a hazard on track. Multiple spins, and yes, he has retired from the session. I think that's the right thing for him to do. Too many spins. He's too slow. He's becoming a moving roadblock. So unfortunate for him. I hate to see him with the DNF. Ivan Brito, a crowd favorite from PTRL. And he'll be credited with another DNF. But we pick up this battle here. This is a 3-car battle for the 2nd spot. This is Jared Fosbury in the McLaren, followed by Harry Cooper in the Ferrari, who's being chased by your points leader, Jack Yates, in the Alfa Romeo. DRS slot open on the Ferrari of Harry Cooper. Cooper's not going to be close enough to make a move. And meanwhile, while this is starting to materialize and take place, Daniel Tamberg has been able to pull out to a 2-second gap over those guys. And you see Cooper runs very wide coming out of the top of that hill. So Jared Fosbury, we talked earlier about, he's got 4 podium finishes to his credit this year. He's second in points with 97. Jack Yates, he missed last race, but he's 6 for 6 this year in races that he started with a podium finish, so he's still batting 1,000. He's your points leader at 112. Now Harry Cooper. Cooper is only 7th in points with 40 points, but he hasn't made every race so far. He's actually, I believe, was a reserve coming into this season, but with the Joshua Arnold being banned, I think he's going to take place in every race moving forward. I don't think he's going to be reserve. And again, we also had Ahoy Hasahina join the league as of today, and he's under threat from Paco Suarez, but we're not going to cut from this 3-car battle. So Harry Cooper, though, he has shown a lot of speed this year. Obviously, we talked about earlier, he had a 3rd place finish at Monza last time out. Here comes Jack Yates with the DRS slot open. He's got the better line heading into the corner. And he's going to be able to take that spot from Harry Cooper. So Cooper's going to fall back to 4th. And Adrian Storm was able to get around Asahina, and now he's all over the backside of Kevin Harrison. I'm sorry, Adrian Storm, that is the other Mercedes. Suarez is the one that is working on the back end of Asahina in the Renault, so I got my Mercedes mixed up there for a hot second. Adrian Storm working on Kevin Harrison's Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, this 3-car battle hasn't exactly gone away. These guys are all, looks like they're all on the medium tires. So your top 4 drivers are all on mediums. Who's going to pit first to try and make that undercut? That's going to be an interesting strategy. And then on top of that, the first driver to be on a hards and on a different strategy is going to be Kevin Harrison. So when the top 4 guys pit, Harrison will be able to take the lead. And Harrison's actually been able to separate himself from Adrian Storm a little bit. Looks like Storm wasn't very good through the 3rd sector. Lost some time. And here is Jack Yates all over the back of Jared Fosbury. Now, this is a very dangerous area. You can hear him working that throttle a little bit. He's going to be getting some aero wash off of Jared Fosbury's car in front of him. So he's going to lose a little bit of downforce. Fosbury runs a little wide there through that corner. And not only is this a battle for the 2nd spot, this is actually a battle for the championship here. These guys running 1 and 2 in the championship. Jack Yates, Jared Fosbury running 1, 2 in the championship. They're currently running 2nd and 3rd. Daniel Tamberg running a solid race up front. He's 2.3 seconds ahead of this battle. So good for Tamberg. A lot of crowd support for him today in the live stream. And it looks like Fosbury is going to be the first one to dive into the pits. He'll be followed by Harry Cooper. So Tamberg is going to stay out on track. He's 2.6 seconds ahead of Jack Yates. That's going to move Kevin Harrison into the 3rd spot. He's being pursued by Adrian Storm. And now Ahoy Asahina. Oh, we got a side-by-side battle. This is Jorge Correa on Paco Suarez. That is a battle for 6th spot. Oh, and Suarez runs wide. He runs very wide at the top of turn 3. Luckily, there's a lot of runoff in that area. You see Asahina there started 16th on the grid, has moved his way into 5th. Great showing for his IRL debut. Now Suarez with the DRS slot open. So good for Jorge Correa moving to the 6th spot. These guys are going to be running on hard tires. They're going to be able to run a little bit longer. And now Daniel Tamberg gives up the 1st spot. He's in the pits. He's got Jack Yates right behind him. So Kevin Harrison is going to take the lead. And now you've got Jorge Correa and Paco Suarez taking over second and third. So the guys on the hard tires are now your leaders. So here comes Daniel Tamberg, and this is Alexander Bastos. Through the pit sequence, has now worked his way into fifth. Asahina is in the pits. He's going to drop back to 10th. So pit strategies coming into play here. Kevin Harrison, your first driver not to pit, and also your leader. He's followed by Jorge Correa and Paco Suarez. Those three drivers have not pitted. They are running a different strategy. They're out on the hard tires. Daniel Tamberg will subsequently retake the lead through the pit sequence if he doesn't lose any time. And he's followed by Alexander Bastos. Now that's another driver that hasn't pitted. So Bastos is splitting Daniel Tamberg and Jack Yates. And that is good news for Tamberg because Bastos is going to be able to hold up Tamberg and Jared Fosbury. Fosbury gets jumped in the pits just a little bit. He hasn't lost touch just yet with Jack Yates. Daniel Tamberg running in fourth. So this is good news for Daniel Tamberg. This is exactly what he wanted to see. Bastos holding up traffic just a little bit. Now Jack Yates is going to have the DRS slot open. He's going to dive to the inside. He's obviously going to be able to make this pass quite easily. Bastos is going to suck in behind him, pick up a little bit of that slipstream. So I don't think that lasted as long as Daniel Tamberg would have liked to have seen. You see Jack Yates there, and now Bastos is going to be holding up Jared Fosbury. This is definitely what Fosbury didn't want to see. So Fosbury going to have to find his way around Alexander Bastos in the Renault. Fosbury with the DRS slot open. Bastos cuts over to the outside of the track. He tried taking away the racing line. Fosbury had a full head of steam, was able to make the pass. So now Harry Cooper will be the next one to try and get around Bastos. Meanwhile, we've got the swap for position here. Paco Suarez getting around Jorge Correa. And Sneaky Pete, that's Andre Pestana, just got hit with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for corner cutting. He's currently running in the 13th spot. And now Correa's got the DRS slot open. Is he close enough to make a move? Not this time by, but can he stick with him? Oh, and he runs very wide at the top of the hill. He tried keeping the power down. Lost the front end. That's from that aero wash we talked about earlier. That loss of front downforce and grip just pushes the car wide. Oh, and he cuts that corner. He cuts that corner big time. That'll definitely get him a warning for sure. He gives the position back, tucks back in behind him. So Correa, he cut that corner. I don't know if he did it on purpose or just blew the braking zone. But he gives the position back to Paco Suarez. So he did the right thing there. I'm sure he got himself a warning for corner cutting. So that'll go against him as well. Meanwhile, Daniel Tamberg is now closed in on this battle here. Battle for second spot currently. But again, Suarez and Correa have yet to pit. DRS slot open again for Jorge Correa. And he is going to move to the inside. Thought about it. Not close enough to make it work. Now again, the run through the sweeping turn 3. And it looks like Suarez is the one that goes wide a little bit that time. And Tamberg has got this gap closed down big time now. He's within half a second. He's within striking distance now. Now, while all this is happening, Kevin Harrison's been able to pull out to a 9 in a half-second gap over this battle for second. To the top of the hill. And you see there's other cars in the background. They've got their own little battle going on. That is Jack Yates, followed by Jared Fosbury, followed by Harry Cooper. Ooh, and runs very wide coming out of that corner. DRS slots open for Jorge Correa and Daniel Tamberg. Who's going to make a move on who? And again, Correa's not close enough. He thought about it. He definitely thought about it. Suarez got that Mercedes trimmed out just a little bit, making life hard for Correa to get around him. So 3-car battle here, and Jack Yates is now closing the gap down to this, 1.7 seconds. And this is not good for Tamberg, because at this point now Tamberg is being held up by Jorge Correa and Paco Suarez. And that is allowing Jack Yates to close that gap. He's 1.5 seconds back of Tamberg. That's going to subsequently be the battle for the lead once Kevin Harrison, Paco Suarez, and Jorge Correa pit. Correa blows the corner. Looks like he goes wide. Tamberg tries to get the power down. He's going to try and make that move. He's able to get to the inside of Correa. Correa's going to try and take it back through here through the chicane, but I don't think he's going to be able to. So Tamberg's able to get a car in between him and Jack Yates. And Correa's got the DRS slot open. Tamberg takes away the defensive line. Takes the more defensive line, I should say. He's able to hang on to that third spot. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison is now pulled out to 10+ seconds over this battle. And this is materializing into a 4-car battle here for the second spot. And again, Paco Suarez and Jorge Correa have yet to pit. And Tamberg needs to find a way around Paco Suarez as soon as possible, because Jack Yates is now a part of this battle. And he's going to start working on the backside of Jorge Correa for the 4th spot. And Correa to the inside, trying to take away that defensive line, but it looks like Jack Yates is going to make the move around the outside, outbreaks him on the much fresher tire, so Jorge Correa loses the spot. So Tamberg now stuck behind Paco Suarez. And Kevin Harrison is in the pits. And so is Paco Suarez. So now this is the battle for the lead. This is Daniel Tamberg, followed by Jack Yates, followed by Jared Fosbury and Harry Cooper. And Asahina is now able to jump some guys through the pits. He's going to be in the 7th spot. So Daniel Tamberg now under threat from Jack Yates. He lost a lot of time being stuck behind the traffic of Jorge Correa and Paco Suarez that allowed Yates to close that gap. 13 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and the top 4 starters are your top 4 runners through the pit sequence and strategy calls. You see that red light flashing. That's Tamberg harvesting some of that ERS, trying to harvest that and use it for defense. He's not going to be able to, he's not going to have the DRS advantage. And Jack Yates is all over the back of him. We're going to hop on board with Jack Yates. The DRS slot's going to be open. Tamberg tries to take that defensive line. Here comes Yates. He's going to make Yates go to the outside. And Yates is half on the track, half off. Tamberg's are side by side with him. He's going to try the crossover move. He loses the back end just a little bit. Great save by Tamberg. But Tamberg loses the spot, but he's all over the back. He dives to the inside. He's not able to get the power down. Yates is going to sweep around the outside, drops those left side tires in the grass. And again, Tamberg's going to try the crossover move, trying to get the power back down. And they're side by side as they head down towards this quick left-right sweeper. And again, we've got tires dropping in the grass. To the top of the hill. DRS slot open. It's going to be a short run down here this backstretch. Oh no, and Harry Cooper's retired from the race. What has happened to Harry Cooper? Looks like he's going off at the top of the hill. Oh, he's crashing into the wall. Nose first. You saw it there on the right side. Harry Cooper must have caught some of that curbing on the left side. And he is done for the day. That is too bad for Cooper. And Jack Yates was able to get around Daniel Tamberg, as we were talking about earlier. Tamberg trying to get that spot back. They'll have the DRS slot open. Here comes Tamberg with a full head of steam. Dives to the inside. Drag race down the front stretch. Tamberg's going to be able to take that position back. And is he going to be able to hang on to it this time around? He worked really hard to get that position back. A good lap by him. Trying to stick with Jack Yates. And Andre Pastana is hit with another 3-second time penalty. And that is too bad about Harry Cooper. He had a really good run going. He was battling for a podium position with Jared Fosbury. And it looks like at the top of that hill, he looks like he probably lost the back end coming over the curbing and went nose first into the wall. So that ruins his day. Luis Wassman just set the fastest lap though at 1:23.79. He had a really good qualifying effort, but he had contact on the opening lap, fell all the way back to 16th. He's now worked his way into 12th. And here we go, Jack Yates. DRS slot open. Daniel Tamberg tucks in behind him. So they swap positions. Again, Tamberg's able to stick with him just a little bit, but Yates is going to take that position back. Now can Yates gap Tamberg? Tamberg was really good through Sector 2 last time to stick with Jack Yates. Looks like he's able to do the same thing here. James Harworth and Louis Quinlan dive into the pits. They're pitting from 10th and 11th, respectively. DRS slot open at the top of the hill. It's not going to be close enough to make a move, but he just needs to stick with him. He needs to stick with him and make that move going into turn 1 on the next lap. Oh, he cuts that corner a little tight. You see that red light flashing on the Alfa Romeo. He's harvesting some of that ERS. And Tamberg looks like he lost a little bit of ground there through their chicane. Here he comes again with a head of steam. Ooh, cuts it very close, right at the last second. And sucks right back in front of him. So now Jack Yates falls back to second, so they swap positions together. It's 3 laps in a row. Nobody's been able to gap anybody. Meanwhile, 3 seconds back from this battle for the lead is Jared Fosbury quietly biding his time, trying to close in on that gap. And just about everybody else on the track is fairly separated at this point, except for this battle for the lead. And now Tamberg, 7/10 of a second up now. He gets a good run through the top of turn 3 and into these S's here. Yates trying to throw that wing open as soon as he can, coming to the top of the hill. He's able to close that gap a little bit. He's really good at the braking point there. That braking zone has been Jack Yates' bread and butter. He's able to make up a little bit of time and not lose too much time. He made a pass there earlier around the outside of Jorge Correa. So that braking zone at the end of that DRS has been his bread and butter. And now Jack Yates again, he's going to have that DRS slot open down the front stretch. He's going to be close enough to make a move. Here he comes. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So not this time by, but can he stick with him for maybe next time? Working lap 25 of 33. The laps are winding down here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Actually, I think it's Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona. Here at España. And you see Fosbury coming into the frame there in the background. He's actually got that gap cut down. It was 2.9 seconds a couple laps ago. It's now down to 2.2. So he's managed to start closing that gap. DRS slot open again. Not going to be close enough. You see Jared Fosbury there in the background. Hamburg trying to maintain that gap, spread it out a little bit. Louis Quinlan picks up a 3-second time penalty. Inconsequential to his race as of right now. And now this time, Yates is very close. Very close. He's going to be able to make a huge move early on the front straightaway. That is not good news for Tamberg. Tamberg's going to try and tuck in behind him. He doesn't want to lose too much ground to him, but DRS slot open. He made that move early on the front straightaway. That's not good news. He's going to lose some ground here. Tamberg is half a second back now through turn 3. Can Tamberg fight to get it back? And while this is going on, there's another battle going on behind them. That is Kevin Harrison is now closing the gap to Jared Fosbury. That is the battle for third. But we're going to stick with this battle for the lead here. Tamberg still trying to stick with Jack Yates. Tamberg would love to pick up his first win of the season. Actually, no, I take that back. It would be his second win of the season. He won it round 1 at Silverstone. That was his first win. And his first podium. That was also, I think that's the only time he's finished on the podium so far this year. So Tamberg be looking to make a little bit of a comeback here. Here he comes again, head of steam down towards the braking zone. He's going to try and outbrake him. Oh, they make a little bit of contact, and around there's Tamberg. That's not good for him. Here comes Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury. And we've got one of the Haas's off in the gravel. Looks like he was getting out of the way. And Tamberg is going to fall back to 4th. So commentators curse. Talked about his first win at Silverstone. He went into that braking zone. That was going to be very close and very tight to begin with. And unfortunately, Tamberg got the short end of the stick on that one. So now it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2. And we've seen this a couple of times so far this year. Jack Yates out in front, followed by his teammate Kevin Harrison. Followed by Jared Fosbury. Fosbury going to try and stick within striking distance. Maybe he can get that. Maybe he can get that second spot back. Andre Zass still with us on the live chat. It's the second time that's happened this race, according to him. But Liz Fosbury's losing ground to Kevin Harrison, almost a second out, 0.8 of a second. And Tamberg is going to be shooting himself in the foot. And Kevin Harrison just ran the fastest lap of the race, and he gaps Jared Fosbury. So working lap 28 of 33, unfortunately, and now the cars are separated just a smidge. Going to get a little bit of a grid reset here. So this is Jack Yates, your points leader and leader of this race, followed by his teammate, 1.5 seconds back, Kevin Harrison. 1.5 back from him is Jared Fosbury. He's followed by Daniel Tamberg, who made that contact with Jack Yates, lost the car. Adrian Storm has worked his way into 5th. He's running all by his lonesome. Shout out to Ahoy Asahina, who started in 16th. He's worked his way into the 6th spot. He's under a little bit of pressure from Paco Suarez for the 6th spot. Jorge Correa is in 8th. Alexander Bastos is in 9th. And James Hallworth, who started in the 3rd position, falls back into 10th. 11th is Louis Quinlan. Andre Pestana is in the 12th spot. And that is Luis Wassman behind him. That is the battle for the 12th spot. That rounds out your 13 remaining cars. 14th is Harry Cooper. Ivan Brito is 15th. And Andre Zaz is 16th, all with DNFs, unfortunately, as we see Wassman trying to make a move on Andre Pestana for the 12th spot. Stick with this just for a second here. And to the outside goes Wassman. And he'll make that move as we pick up Jack Yates. That battle's not over yet, though. Wassman may have made the move, but Pestana is looking to try and stick with him. They're getting the blue flag. There's a car behind them. I'm not 100% sure who it is. It is Paco Suarez. I'm sorry, Adrian Storm. And finally, looks like Correa will get out of the way and he'll give up on that battle. Sorry, Pestana will give way and give up on that battle for the 12th spot. So Kevin Harrison comes across the line working lap 30 of 33. Another Alfa Romeo 1-2. It's not the first time they've done that this year. They did it back in round 6, where again it was Jack Yates and Kevin Harrison. So it'll be the second 1-2 finish this year. Daniel Tamberg, there's not out of the fight for a podium spot. He's within a second of Jared Fosbury for 3rd. So he hasn't given up that fight. It would be a good comeback for him after the contact that he made, trying to get that podium spot. He's definitely closing the gap to him. Fosbury's losing time. He's 3 seconds back from second spot Kevin Harrison, and Harrison's actually closing the gap to his teammate now, under a second. And we're going to pick up Tamberg. He's going to have the DRS advantage heading down to this lap. Kevin Harrison, though, getting dangerously close to his teammate Jack Yates. I don't think there's any team orders between these two guys. They seem to work well as a team, but I don't think there's any direct orders for them to hold their positions between amongst each other or not. And according to Andre Zaz, they do have team orders amongst them. They're in a party, and Kevin always lets Jack win. Kevin Harrison, though, he is on the softer tire. He's on the medium tire. So he may be a little bit faster. He's going to stick with this and see what happens here. It's an amazing run coming out of that corner. He does dive to the inside, so that's a drag race down the front stretch, and the DRS slot is open. So Harrison out in front. And I wonder if it'll stay that way. Meanwhile, Daniel Tamberg trying to make the move on Jared Fosbury for the third spot. Down to the turn 1, they're side by side. Still side by side as they head through turn 3. Daniel Tamberg trying to get back onto the podium after trying to make that move for the lead and spun himself after making contact with Jack Yates. And Fosbury cuts that corner, drops the right side tires into the grass. Here comes Tamberg down to the inside, and this is where Tamberg has been great all day. Just through that series of corners and up down here through the S's, they're still side by side, dangerously close to making contact with each other. And it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact left front to the right rear. DRS slot open. And it looks like Fosbury was maybe checking to see if the car maybe had a puncture. And now Tamberg has lost a little bit of ground now to Fosbury. And Tamberg won't be done with this battle. We're going to jump to Jack Yates real quick, though. Yates has got the DRS slot open this time. Is he going to make a move to take that lead back from Kevin Harrison? This is the final lap of this race. Here comes Tamberg. Fosbury takes away the defensive line. Tamberg trying to stick with them. Jack Yates trying to work on the backside of his teammate, though, Kevin Harrison. Meanwhile, Tamberg still all over the back of Fosbury's McLaren. Oh, and he runs very wide coming out of there. It looks like Paco Suarez is making a move on James Hallworth. That is for the 9th spot. Meanwhile, last set of corners, and Kevin Harrison still out in front of Jack Yates. And Tamberg picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could cost him. And meanwhile, Kevin Harrison is going to take the win over his teammate Jack Yates. Here comes Jared Fosbury. He's going to be able to hold off Tamberg for the 3rd spot. Tamberg will come home 4th. Adrian Storm coming through the last quarter now. He'll come home 5th. Good effort by him. Ahoy Asahina. Great effort by him, starting in the 16th spot today. He'll come home in 6th. Jorge Carrillo is right behind him in 7th. Alexander Bastos is going to be coming across the line. He'll come home 8th. Paco Suarez in 9th. And it looks like Louis Quinlan has crashed himself out of the 11th spot. He'll be credited with a DNF. And Paco Suarez comes across the line 9th. James Hallworth right behind him for 10th. So here is your winner, and that is 2 wins in a row for Kevin Harrison, round 7 and round 8. That's going to bump him in the points. Harrison was 3rd in the points moving into this. So Kevin Harrison, your winner, followed by Jack Yates, his teammate. Jared Fosbury keeping the championship fight alive. It is now a 3-way battle for the championship points lead between those 3 drivers right there. So that is the 7th podium this year. So for Iceman Jack Yates. So Kevin Harrison walks away with the win. It's his 2nd win of the season, 2nd win of the year. Jack Yates keeping his race to podium finish ratio at 1,000%. 7 races, 7 podiums. Jared Fosbury with his 5th podium finish of the year. Daniel Tamberg almost came home with the win. Comes home 4th. Adrian Storm is 5th. Ahoy Asahina making his debut, runs from 16th to 6th. A great day for him. Jorge Correa coming home in 7th. Alexander Bastos credited with another 8th place finish. James Hallworth started 3rd, comes home 9th, followed by Paco Suarez, Louis Quinlan, Luis Wassman, Andre Pastana, Harry Cooper, Ivan Brito, and Andre Zaz, rounding out your 16 drivers in today's race. So, unbelievable race today, and we're going to try and get those 3 drivers in here for a quick interview. So stand by for that. So we're going to get Jared Fosbury in here. He will get the other 2 drivers in here for some interviews. And I don't know why we're going to interview Jack Yates. He's a man of very little words. That is Iceman. So here's Jared Fosbury. He'll get the other 2 drivers in here for interviews.
Yep.
So we will stand by for that.
There you go, mate. Just need you to accept our invites and it should be good.
So, and we will start with 3rd place finisher Jared Fosbury. Very interesting race today for you. Battle there with Daniel Tamberg at the end, and battle for basically the top 3 spots most of the day. How do you feel your race went for you today?
Well, start quali went alright. I was surprised where I got on mediums, and I thought I could win this race. I thought I had the pace. I beat Jack, of course, and you know, I was pretty happy with that. And then the race was fine, the first part, and then I don't know what Dantan was thinking near the end after he had that little contact with Jack doing a dive, and I've seen this before from him. He's just making silly dives and whatever happened between them. But then later on in the race, he was rear-ending me for no reason. So it's after that, I was just annoyed. He almost made me crash at one point. So. But other than that, it was a great race and good job for Kevin and Jack. They pulled a master class strategy, and if I didn't have a bit of wing damage, I had a little bit of yellow, I possibly could have caught back up with Jack, but Kevin, there was no way he was on the medium tyres, so GG to them and great race from everybody else.
Well said. Congratulations on your podium. That is your 5th podium of the year. You're keeping that championship fight alive. And the championship battle is actually now between you 3 drivers. We'll move over to Jack, who finished 2nd. I know you remain a few words. So, was there any team orders for you guys in the race, or did you just feel you were not quick enough to maintain the lead over your teammate?
My headset died, so I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was quicker, so I didn't.
Alright, so we let him go. And Kevin Harrison, 2 wins in a row for you, my friend. Another Alfa Romeo 1-2 finish, and congratulations on your 2nd win. Maybe better said with you, was there any team orders moving into the race, or did you expect him to let you go that way?
He didn't let me go. He made a mistake. There was no team orders at all. It was me and Jack racing for the win. No team orders.
And another great strategy call. You had a pretty disappointing qualifying effort, but was that your strategy all along to start on the hards and start that deep in the field?
Well, I was planning to start on the hards, but I didn't intend to start that low down. I don't know. I didn't leave myself enough time to get out to do a lap, so I ended up starting 15th. My start was very good. I gained a few positions off that, kept out of incidents, and then after that was a kind of just me on my own really until the end, and then obviously I caught up to the top guys and ended up with the win, so really happy for how my race has gone.
Well, congratulations on your 2nd win. It's now a 3-car battle between you guys for the championship. Moving forward, Kevin, do you think there'll be any team orders at all between you 2 now, since you are in fact fighting for the championship points lead?
I highly doubt it, unless it's very minor and it's not for a win. if we were like maybe even like in the top 5, like not even fighting for a podium, I don't think there'd be team orders because it's so close and every point counts. So I don't think there'll be any more team orders.
So it's safe to say the championship battle is on. Now, Jared, do you feel you'll have the speed moving forward to try and stick with these guys throughout the rest of the season?
No, I'm going to retire now and finish now. Possibly. I'll have to wait and see see how much fuel he's got in that tank and see how much pace he's got. I know Kevin's quick, so I'll have to wait and see. There's a few favourite of my tracks coming up, which I'm a bit quicker, so maybe I can get finally a win under my belt and get this championship sorted, and let's try and wrap up my second IRL F2 title. But let's see what happens next race.
Well, congratulations to all 3 drivers, and as Jared said, we'll be moving on to some of his more favorite tracks. Next week we'll be at Bahrain for F2, so be sure to tune in for that. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in today, and then everybody that's going to tune in after the race. Andre Zatz, who stuck with us through the course of the live stream, even after his DNF. I want to thank him for sticking with us and some of his insights between from a driver standpoint. And check us out online, internationalracingleague-IRL.com. And you can check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. Be sure to tune in for next week's race. It's sure to be another thriller. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see everybody at the next round.